What's up? I got a cat. I got coffee. I got you. Well, maybe I don't have you. You're watching them. That says something. We're going to have a show in just a moment. We'll see if anybody's going to show up live today. 10 seconds. I always give people a chance to show up live. And 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Today is Tuesday. It is May 25th. 25th. There we go. 2021. My name is Jeremy. And this, of course, is my first cup of coffee. There's a cat in my lap. You may be able to hear her. She is quite happy that she is in my lap. I kind of have to sit back here because she's taking up my lap. I can't lean forward. Well, I hope you had a good Monday. I got a lot of work done yesterday. I did pretty well with my list. We're chipping away at the audiobook for Faith. I got an email overnight saying it's done. I just have to review, but if you've been waiting for that, that should be in the Audible store soon. There is a time delay, and sometimes it's a significant one between setting up the project and uploading the files and it being available, but it'll be there. What else? What else did I do yesterday? We got some feedback on episode 608 with Sensei Mark Pera. A big story. A big story. I hope you listened. I hope you listened to that one. It was good. Check it out. What else did we do? I had a good call with Jenny. We talked about some books and some more books that are coming out. We've got so many things going on. The flexibility program, I've got a bunch of feedback from people. So I'm going to sit down today and go through everybody's notes. I've got a weird day. So it's a non-recording day, no podcasts being recorded today. But I've ended up with an orthodontist appointment from my Invisalign, my braces, my teeth. And then I've got an acupuncture appointment like an hour away from that. So, and in between, I need to buy a new laptop. Mine is just, it's done. It's a good 30 minutes for it to finish booting up, and I just can't deal with it. Stacy says, morning, glad to hear lots is going on that is good for whistlekick. Yeah. I'm really excited for this flexibility program, guys. I really, really am. Because it represents a type of work that I like to do. And I don't know, I guess you could call it a research paper. Good morning, John. But it's got a different style than that. You know, back when I was in college and I would write papers, I would reference things. But I didn't write them in the academic style that most of my science teachers wanted. And I definitely didn't write the way my English and philosophy teachers wanted. You know, I've got my own writing style. If you've read the things I write, you know I write the way I speak. And people either love that or hate that. And with this, it's writing the way I speak, and yet at every point where I think someone's going to say, Jeremy, I don't know that I believe that, there's a reference to a study that proves it. And the hope is, as we put this together and we release it, that it'll do a couple things. One, people will pay attention to whistlekick. 2, it'll raise my credibility so that people will maybe inherently trust what I say a little bit more, because we're not going to make every program and every book that we do this style. 3, hopefully it gets people to see the programs that we do, and maybe they'll buy some of the others, because this one's going to be free. And then 4, I was talking with Jenny about this, we may want to release this, the book part of it, or even the whole thing, as a book. And what if we do different versions? What if we do one for martial arts? What if we do one for general purpose? What if we do one for athletes? We could really swap 3% of the words and make it a whole different book or a different demographic. So we may do that. Because in researching this, I looked around, and there are plenty of people teaching the same old flexibility, and it bugs me. It really does. I can't understand how people haven't picked up on this. Working with the way the body functions naturally is the way that gives us the results that we're looking for. Your body's part of nature. You can't extract it. You can't separate it and say, "Oh, I'm gonna, do this thing." How does it work? How does nature work? Oh, nature likes when your body's moved. Your body likes to move. Your body feels better when it moves. Yeah. But that's enough on that. Went to the gym last night, had a good workout, pet the gym dog. Checked on plants yesterday. It looks like I may have lost, of the 10 that went over there, I think I lost 4 or 5 to the frost. It's a southern plant, so I'm not surprised. But I figured out how to build a greenhouse really cheap and easy with a plastic bookshelf that I've got hanging out in the warehouse. I was actually out in the warehouse for about an hour yesterday. Finally, you guys have probably heard me talk about this. I need to clean up the warehouse. Somebody ordered some gear, and so I went out and I had to find it. And while I was looking for it, because the place is a disaster, I cleaned up a little bit. And in cleaning up, reminded myself, hey, a lot of the shipping supplies are on this big plastic bookshelf that really doesn't fit the space. So what if I use that? So I'm going to use that. So after work, that's what I'll do. It's time to grow food. Justin and I have a meeting about Marshall Journal this morning. I was sad to get an email yesterday that one of our confirmed advertisers had a big thing happen, and they've pulled out. So we have to talk about what to do with that, because you may have heard me, and I've bragged to people. I was so pumped our first issue was going to break even, and now it's not. Shucks. That's okay. We're still going ahead. I'm not going to delay it. It's not, it wasn't so much advertising space that, all of a sudden the economics of it are debilitating. But if you haven't signed up, you could still sign up. I think we had last I checked, there were still a couple slots left, which blows my mind. Would you like to get a free new martial arts magazine that's completely collectible? No. And I know what's going to happen. In a year, people are going to be bugging us for reprints that we're not going to do. We're creating scarcity with this. If you want this, you got to get it. You got to get it when it releases. Oh, that coffee is so good. I don't know why I wasn't using this French press more. It's easier to clean. It's faster. Well, it works better with my morning. Stacy says, yes, I want the magazine. Oh, you're on the list. I saw that. All right. I don't think I have anything else to say. Let's see what you guys gave me to talk about. Do you have any questions or comments for the people? There's a cat right there. No? She was in my face at 5:05. It was early. The alarm clock hadn't even started to light up. Nothing. She just purring in my face, which I'm sure she thinks is the best way to wake up. It is not. The best way to wake up? Naturally, without a cat in your face. Where am I going? I'm distracted. Distracted by cats. Here we go. Aha. All right. And so yesterday we talked about the Medal of Honor. And what it was, what it meant, a little bit of history, etc. And I'll set this up, and then I'm going to share with you something funny that I thought about, because I actually thought about doing this, but it's a little bit too shady and devious, and I don't want it to track back to me, so I'm not going to do it. But I'll tell you about it. Here are some quotes from Medal of Honor recipients. Number 1, moral courage, doing what has to be done because it is the right thing to do, is the mark of a true hero. Thomas G. Kelly, Navy, Vietnam War. When we think about the stories that we hear of people doing heroic things, I mean, really above and beyond, they save lives, they make sacrifices, they risk themselves, things like that. There seems to be a trend, maybe even a majority of people saying that they did the right thing. They were lucky enough to be in the right place at the right time. They did what anybody would do. They hoped that somebody else would do it for them, etc. And I think that that is an important part of heroics. I think that's an important part of humanity, is recognizing when there's an opportunity to help. That in those moments, it seems like, and I don't know that I've ever had these moments, so I'm speculating, that there is such clarity that this is what you were supposed to do, that people just do it. They don't even think about it. They don't question it. And I think martial arts prepares us for that sort of stuff, because it gives us a more versatile tool set from which to help people. We can help people with physical violence. We can help people with awareness. And a lot of problems, can be avoided with awareness, or if you didn't avoid them, you can dig yourself out with some violence. I think a lot of us fantasize about being heroes. We watch superhero movies. As kids, we pretend to be superheroes. I think there's something innate about our desire to help people. I don't think it's just childhood dreams. I think there's something hardwired in us whereby we're willing to step up and serve the community. Yeah. So here was the thing I was thinking about last night. I was being silly. And I said, all right, what's a way, because I'm constantly thinking about this, what's a new way that whistlekick could make money? And I said, okay, well, what if we launched this offshoot that wasn't branded with whistlekick at all, whereby people could buy rank? It would be pretty similar to the way people buy degrees online. It would be a fake accreditation. Well, not really fake, but just an accreditation that nobody recognizes other than the issuing body. And you would apply online, and you would choose your rank, and the higher the rank, the more you would pay. And you would have to list out your qualifications, and you would get a certificate mailed to you. But we make it would be so easy, everybody would be choosing, like 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th degree black belts. And part of the reason I thought about doing this was, okay, what if we did this for a while and then we just exposed it? Said, this is the thing that we did. But I took a step back and I realized, does that fit with the ethics of whistlekick, of bringing people into and keeping them in the martial arts? Does that line up? And it doesn't. So, but I bet if we launch that, if I launched that, because it wouldn't have anything to do with whistlekick. I would do it separately, and I would remove my name from it. But I bet if I did that, and I put some ads on social media saying, do something, I don't know what it would say, people would buy rank. I bet it would bring in a decent amount of money. I bet it would bring in at least a few thousand a month. And how mad would those people be after, 12 or 18 months when the business model flips and becomes, hey, we're going to put up a list of all the people who bought rank through our shady program, and here are some ads on it. It's fun to think about. I wouldn't actually do it. There are people out there that buy rank. And I don't mean that they earn rank and they pay for their testing fee. I mean, there are people who buy rank. It happens. Our next quote. One visit to a country without freedom makes one realize that freedom is a precious gift worth fighting for. ERNEST E. West, Army, Korean War. I think most of us would agree that freedom is important. We have different definitions of what freedom looks like, and we have different ideas of what freedoms are appropriate to give up for the greater good. None of us has complete freedom. I do not have the freedom. What's a ridiculous example? I do not have the freedom, no matter how much money I have, to buy a fighter jet and park it in my backyard. I can't land it on the road and taxi it to my backyard. Is that a freedom I don't really care about? Of course. But it's still a freedom, and it's still something that is restricted from me. So it's an intellectual example where we don't have complete freedom. Maybe you care about having that freedom. There are plenty of freedoms that are restricted that people care about. We spend a lot of time online arguing about them. And by we, I do not include myself. There are new things going on all the time. I'm not even going to name the two that the two freedoms that we seem to discuss the most. But they're out there. And it's a balance. Everything is a balance. You as a martial artist have the freedom to train how you want, but not necessarily train in that way where you want. There's a balance. There's a compromise. You can train any martial arts style you want, but not necessarily with anyone you want. If I want to learn, I don't know, what don't I know? Let's say Sambo. Let's say I want to learn Sambo. My Taekwondo teacher can't teach me Sambo. John says, my instructor said somebody called him last year asking if they could buy a black belt. My instructor told him he doesn't do that. Yeah. I went through a phase here. I'll share this. I went through a phase. I think I've talked about this publicly, but maybe not. In the early days of whistlekick, where it was very obvious that some of the things I identified as opportunities to grow whistlekick were being restricted from me because of rank. So this is back in 2015, 2016, 2017. Now at the time, when I started whistlekick, I was officially a first degree black belt in karate and a second degree black belt in taekwondo. That was it. That was the entirety of my rank. There was a period of time where I went 15, 16 years, something like that, without a rank promotion. And it didn't matter to me until whistlekick started, because it felt like people around me were getting these opportunities to teach and gain credibility, and people were recognizing them and engaging with their offerings, products or services. And I said, but I want whistlekick to have this opportunity. I want to go teach here, here, and here, and be representative of whistlekick, and thus people are more likely to pay attention to what I'm doing. And I had people say, well, what's your rank? They didn't care how long I'd been training. They didn't care about my skill. They cared about what they could put on their promotional materials. And it started bumming me out. And so I went to a few people and I said, okay, here's the situation. I went to people who had not been training as long as I had. In fact, I went to one person who outranked me significantly, and I was a black belt before they started training. And I asked these people, I said, what do you think about this? How do I handle this? And none of them offered to sell me rank or to just say, well, let's figure out where you fit and let's get you promoted. No, it was, okay, if you're going to test with me, and they wanted me to do it the right way, and I respect both of them for it. Both of them have actually been on martial arts radio. I won't name them. And so I gave up on that. I said, you know what? Fine. And I had a conversation with a couple other people who I really respect in the arts. And they said, there's one in particular I'm thinking of, somebody I really think very highly of. And he said, don't worry about it. If the people who are not giving you these opportunities are only not giving you the opportunities because of the number of stripes you don't have on your belt, it's really not going to benefit you in the way that you're hoping it will. You're better off focusing your time and your energy on other ways of growing and promoting your business. And I reluctantly accepted that. But in hindsight, I completely accept that. Because here's the thing. Over the next few years, I added six stripes between 3 different disciplines. Didn't change a thing. Nobody asked me to teach. The same people who had me teach that are the same people who have me teach now. They never cared. The other people used it as an excuse. They didn't want me to teach in the first place. That's fine. Stacy says, the first articles I submitted to Taekwondo Times, I intentionally did not put my rank on the submission. I could see that. We are in a weird industry where somehow your rank becomes qualification for everything. If I outrank you, I must be better at everything. It's silly. It's utterly ridiculous. It's all bunk. It's BS. I don't know, last quote for the day. Hey, if you've got quotes or comments, if you've got things you want me to talk about, like maybe some of the things that I talked about today, if you want me to go deeper, if you want follow-up, if you want to share your story, anything like that, leave it in the comment section below once the show closes. Because if you leave it now, it just becomes a comment that I read. It doesn't go in the same place. But if you leave it in the comment section after the after the show, I'll read it tomorrow. Because yeah, we do it every weekday, 6:30 U.S. Eastern Time, a.m. Here on YouTube. We release it later as an audio podcast. All right, last quote. Millions have served in the military and made sacrifices, and most have gone unrecognized. George E. WAHLEN, Navy, World War II. How do we recognize everyone? How do we appreciate the sacrifices? whether it was life or a limb or just time away. How do we recognize all of those people? I think the main thing we can do is acknowledge. One of the things that I've been trying to do more of lately is thank people, to show gratitude, to acknowledge that some people have a challenging aspect to their lives and they work through it in a way that benefits me. Here's a great example. The UPS and the FedEx drivers. Now, FedEx does seem to like to leave my boxes on the ground in the rain under the sign that says don't leave my boxes on the ground. But FedEx and UPS are still, you know, I see the UPS truck sometimes going up this road to my neighbors, 9 o'clock at night, 9:30. I've woken up to packages that were left after 10 p.m. Yes, they're short-staffed. Yes, they're doing their job. But I still thank them. Hey, I appreciate what you guys do. I know you're really backed up. You can do the same thing with somebody who's served. You can do the same thing for anybody. Now, today we're talking about folks in the military, people who've made sacrifices. And more people are saying, hey, thank you. Now, you may not agree with what they did or how they did it, but they did what they thought was right. They thought in those moments when they signed up, when they went to war, when they did the things they had to do, they thought they were doing the right thing. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't, but I think the intent is important to acknowledge. So whether you acknowledge it to someone audibly, or you just think it, or you smile at them, or you buy them a cup of coffee because they're in line behind you, whatever it is, don't be afraid to show gratitude. Whether it's someone who served the military, whether it's someone who serves your community, family, friends. Gratitude is important. I hope you have a great day. I'm going to go water plants because there's a lot of plants. It's nice to see all of you, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care.